In 1991, in the small town of Kettle Springs, Missouri, a group of teenagers gathers for a late-night party near the abandoned Bacon corn syrup factory, a building that once stood as a proud symbol of the town's prosperity. During the festivities, a girl named Jessica drifts away from the group and wanders into the surrounding cornfield. Concerned, one of the boys follows after her, only to find her stumbling back toward him, bleeding and barely clinging to life. She collapses in his arms. He doesn't see the figure looming behind him, Friendo, the town's once beloved mascot, now twisted into something far more sinister. With a sudden lunge, Friendo drives a pitchfork through the boy, leaving both teens to die in the corn. Years later, Quinn Maybrook and her father, Glenn, relocate to Kettle Springs. Glenn has taken a position as the town's new doctor, but their relationship remains strained under the heavy shadow of Quinn's mother's death. On their first day, they are greeted by their neighbor, Rust, who offers a warm welcome. At school, Quinn's first class takes a chaotic turn when a prank disrupts the lesson. Frustrated, her teacher, Mr. Verne, lashes out and sends the entire class to detention. There, Quinn meets Cole Hill and his circle of friends. Cole introduces Quinn to their YouTube channel, where they post videos featuring Friendo, reimagining the clownish mascot as a deranged figure haunting the ruins of the old Bacon factory. Cole dismisses the town's long-held belief that the factory fire was an act of arson, claiming instead it was caused by faulty wiring. Later that day, Quinn visits the local diner. Sheriff Dunn pulls her aside, cautioning her to steer clear of Cole and his friends. She brushes off the warning. That evening, she joins the group on a trip to the liquor store. While Matt and Tucker stage a fake fight to distract the shopkeeper, Otis, Cole, Janet, and Ronnie slip bottles of alcohol into their bags. Even though Cole leaves a $20 bill behind, Otis is still insulted by the stunt. That night, after they film their first video together, Cole drives Quinn home. When Glenn discovers she has been drinking, he's furious. He lays down strict rules, forbidding her from ever seeing Cole again and banning her from attending the upcoming Founders' Day festival. The following morning, Quinn ignores his command and sneaks out to the celebration. She reunites with Cole and the others, though Tucker is noticeably missing. At first, the festival feels lively and ordinary. But suddenly, disaster strikes. One of the ropes holding up the towering Friendo float snaps, sending the massive figure crashing down in flames. Chaos erupts, and without hesitation, Sheriff Dunn singles out Cole and his friends, accusing them of sabotage despite having no proof. After being released, Quinn replays the video she and the others had filmed earlier, hoping it will calm her nerves. Instead, her blood runs cold. Hidden in the background of one of the frames is another Friendo, silently watching. Alarm, she screenshots the image and sends it to Tucker. At home, Tucker receives the message just as his doorbell camera alerts him to movement outside. Checking the feed, he sees a Friendo standing on his porch. Armed with nothing more than a Nerf gun, he nervously searches the house. In the guest room, he finds a large plastic bag on the floor and a Bacon music box tucked inside the closet. Chuckling nervously, he winds it up, and a toy Friendo pops out. But before he can relax, the real Friendo emerges from the shadows and kills him with a sickle. The next day, tragedy strikes again. While Matt lifts weights in his garage, he discovers a Bacon music box placed nearby. As he bench presses, Friendo sneaks in, rigging a saw blade to the barbell. With one brutal shove, the killer forces the weight down, severing Matt's head. His head rolls into a cooler, leaving behind a grisly scene. That night, though grounded after her arrest, Quinn sneaks out with Cole to a party near the old factory. But Quinn quickly regrets it and runs outside to find Janet and Ronnie. Before she can explain herself, their friend Ginger stumbles toward them with a crossbow bolt in her back. She collapses, lifeless. Janet and Ronnie insist it's another one of Tucker and Matt's elaborate pranks. Their denial holds until Matt's severed head is thrown at them. Quinn checks Ginger's pulse and confirms what the others refuse to believe: Ginger is dead. Only then do Janet and Ronnie realize the nightmare is real. The three rush toward the barn, but the doors slam shut, trapping them outside as a friendo armed with a crossbow closes in. Just before he can strike, Rust appears with a shotgun, blasting the killer back and giving them cover. As friendos swarm, pounding against the walls, Rust prepares an improvised bomb, urging the teens to escape through a sewer grate. He stays behind, detonating the blast that kills the attackers and buys them time to flee. Out on the road, the survivors flag down a passing car only to realize it's Sheriff Dunn. Instead of helping, he arrests Cole for trespassing, leaving Quinn, Janet, and Ronnie to run on their own. Surrounded by friendos in the cornfield, the group scatters. In the chaos, Ronnie is killed. Only Quinn and Janet make it to the Tillersons' house, where they find a friendo slumped in an armchair. Believing him dead, they rush upstairs when a rotary landline begins to ring. They can't figure out how to use it. Desperate, Quinn spots a bulletin board plastered with old Bapin clippings and photographs of multiple friendos. Realization hits. The dead friendo downstairs wasn't dead at all, he was meditating. The masked killer charges with a pitchfork, impaling Janet and pinning her to the ceiling. Quinn wrenches the weapon free and stabs him, killing him, but Janet bleeds out in her arms. Heartbroken and alone, Quinn flees to Cole's truck. But the vehicle is stick shift, and she can't drive it. As she struggles, a friendo lunges through the rear window, dragging her out. Quinn sees Cole bound nearby, a noose tied around his neck, standing on a pile of wood. Then the ringleader reveals himself Mayor Arthur Hill, Cole's own father. Coldly, he disowns his son and declares their crusade just. Before they can execute Quinn, headlights blaze through the factory as Glenn rams his car inside, plowing into several friendos and toppling the woodpile, saving Cole. At the same time, Rust storms in with a rifle, pulling Cole free. He and Glenn hold the killers at bay while Quinn and Cole escape in opposite directions. Sheriff Dunn chases Quinn into a dark room filled with friendo costumes. She hides among them, then ambushes him, jamming a stun baton into his mouth and electrocuting him to death. Rust corners Mayor Hill after a frantic pursuit and shoots him, ending the madness. 1 year later, Kettle Springs begins to heal. Glenn campaigns for mayor, Quinn prepares for college, and Cole and Rust stop by to say goodbye. On the road to her new future, Quinn notices a Bapin music box in her back seat. Without fear, she rolls down the window and tosses it out, leaving friendo and the horrors of Kettle Springs behind her.